Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
What is up, Mad Mob? Time to go give you these starts and sits for the late afternoon and evening slate of games. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm good. When does evening start? Is that 7? 8?
I'd say late. I'd say evening is just a 7:20 game this week.
What game's at 7:20?
It says 7:20. Oh, 8:20. I'm dumb.
Enter
This
the-
is showing me weird central
the
times.
We're in the central time zone, yeah.
I don't know why it's showing me central time. That's so weird.
8:20 is a night game, though, right?
That's an evening game. Yeah.
It's a night game.
That's neat. I consider that evening. I consider the 4:25 games early evening.
Early evening. Okay. Wow.
So then why don't we just call the 8
Strict
o'clock a
time.
night game? When does night begin then? I'm just curious as the time frame. When does night begin if 8:20 is not the night game? 9 o'clock?
Well,
we
late
almost
evening.
there?
Does late evening work?
Well, no. I just want to know. I just want to know on the scale, like where does night begin then for you?
Night begins wherever it needs to begin for me to win this argument.
Is there a
It wasn't-
difference?
It wasn't an argument. I was curious.
8:20 is an evening game. Therefore, whenever the game, how about this? Whenever the game hits halftime, we both win.
So something can be an evening game, but not a night game?
And something could be a night game, but not an evening game.
There's a difference?
This is literally the worst intro of all time.
It's
You
like
started this.
it's like the time that you said mammals weren't animals, or bumblebees weren't animals, or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
You should deny
That
That's what
was a justifiable debate.
It wasn't, and you lost.
Bumblebees aren't animals?
That's what he said, dude. It was the weirdest thing.
It wasn't bees. It was like ants.
Ants. Ants aren't animals. They are in fact animals.
I'm with Beggs on that one. Yeah.
Well, you're with them because you know the result. I'm actually pretty sure that you were involved in that and you were on the insect side.
That's true also.
You just have a pea brain, don't remember.
I mean, they are insects, but I don't think I remember saying that they weren't animals. I think you guys asked me to weigh in on it, and I said technically they're insects, and they're animals as well. I'll have to dig back through if you're really that sure about it, though.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I wasn't in the initial. It was you, Gels, and Wayne on that. I got like a side text at some point.
That's accurate.
That is accurate. It was Joe's who thought insects weren't animals. That's true. Sorry, go.
But yeah,
Appreciate you.
fun fact, guys. Everything that lives and breathes is an animal. That's just the bare bones definition of it.
Period.
Go ahead, start an argument. Everything online will support your argument. Make somebody look real dumb one time. All right, first set of the mid-early slot evening times, late afternoon, early evening. We got the Chargers Broncos, Mile High Stadium. Bo Nix out here trying to continue to ball. Chargers, one of the best mediocre teams this year. The line is Chargers -3, the over-under at a extremely low 35.5. Any people? I'm definitely firing up J.K. Dobbins this week. Love him. I have more and more faith in him as the weeks go on. I hear some people like wanting to start Ladd McConkey. I'm not there yet. I don't understand why other people are there, but
I really don't think you start anyone, right, on either side unless you really have to. Like, I have to start J.K. Dobbins in one of the leagues, and, like, I'm not even really happy about that. We're talking about two of the best defenses in the league, both against the run and the pass, and that's really why the Chargers have been doing so well this year is their defense has shown up. It's just, I don't know. Who do you guys like? I really don't like a single player on any side if I have a better option.
The model that thinks Cortland Sutton's a flex play, but it doesn't even like J.K. Dobbins that much. But I like him a little more because Gus Edwards is on IR. So if you have a dynasty league, Kamani Vidal is a pretty decent stash this week if you can get him. If he's out there.
Yeah,
a good
this is
call.
just Vegas is aliens, and when the implied point total is as low as it is, there's just whenever I typically have a gut feeling of who I want to start, then I try and look at injuries and all that, and if I still have a 50-50, I just defer to Vegas and kind of go with them, and Vegas is saying this is not going to be a high scoring affair, so this is one of those games that you probably want to stay away from. But like I said, I'll probably still roll with my J.K. Dobbins. This has kind of got the makings of one of those games where it's going to be a time of possession key to win the game for me, at least on this one.
It's gonna be like a 10-9 finish.
It's going to be ugly. It's not going to be, unless you love smash mouth defensive football, it's not going to be a fun game to watch.
It'll be over with by about 6:30.
Just a bunch of runs. That's all it is. Run the ball. Army versus Navy football.
Our next game, we have the Raiders Steelers in Las Vegas. Steelers -3. The over-under 1 point higher than the previous game at 36.5. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this one? Go ahead, Beggs.
I think that line is super trappy, and I'm taking the under.
Is this the trap line? Is this the trap line of the week?
I mean, do you think the Raiders and Steelers offense is as bad as the Broncos Chargers?
Yeah, but I don't think their defenses are as good.
Exactly. Do you feel like this line's a little weird going?
No, I feel like it's accurate. I was going to hit the under either way. Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about Aiden O'Connell in his first start of the season. Honestly, the Steelers' defense is for real. Also, like they have a very, very good defense. The Raiders, not so much, but they're not terrible. But we're talking about Justin Fields, who couldn't throw for $150 last week, and
pump the brakes. He was playing Dallas. Pump the brakes.
What does that mean?
That was pretty good defensively, especially to the passing game. It's their run defense that sucks.
The run defense is awful. That usually opens up the pass, generally, right?
I mean, the Raiders gave up, 38 to Denver? To Denver. Wayne, what do you think, man? Is it trappy to you?
No, I mean, I think the under hits. There's just not a lot of skill. Not a lot of skill on the offensive side of the ball here. Just think it's going to be. I think it's going to be rough to score.
Double doink?
Yeah, I'll take the under.
You got it. You got action. I'd take the over. 36.5.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Aiden O'Connell, right? Aiden O'Connell is it's his first game under center. He doesn't have Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers is out now. Michael Mayer's out. Zamir White's questionable. I just, you know what I mean? You're going to have Alexander Madison as your primary back. This is probably a decent game for Trey Tucker. So when Trey Tucker is your number one wide receiver, how are you going to score? You know what I mean? Like Alexander Madison and Trey Tucker are your number one skill position players.
I got Bowers.
As a tight end, yeah. But, I mean, is Brock Bowers good enough to carry the load when in double coverage? He's going to get his. From a fantasy standpoint, he's going to get his. But Aiden O'Connell's a backup to Gardner Minshew for a reason.
What's the over-under on this?
36.5.
36.5. All right,
it's just I don't see them scoring a lot. The Steelers' defense isn't great, but it's not trash.
I agree with you. I think most of the scoring comes from the Pittsburgh side, personally. That's what I think, but
yeah, no, I agree. My thing too is like there's a lot of people that are like, okay, Jacoby's out, okay, Devontae's been out, fire up your Trey Tuckers. I don't like anybody other than Brock Bowers from the Vegas side of the ball. I don't even think Alexander Madison's going to have a good game.
Alexander Madison never has a good game.
I think they score a touchdown, and it's the most obscure person that scores the touchdown for him. It's just going to be because Trey Tucker's going to get locked down by the 1. I mean, that's not going to be an issue. It's literally going to be somebody weird like Tyreek McAllister.
The model is Pickens at wide receiver 27. He was behind Ayuk, and Madison at RB 33. So I doesn't love either one of them.
No, it's a bad game. Go ahead and park Najee Harris now that Jalen Warren's back.
That's wild.
Biggs, for what it's worth, as far as the defenses in the league are concerned, the Raiders are only 2 spots behind Dallas at an average of 4 yards per game. Also, quick update, Dallas is not number 1 in the league for your doink with Wayne as of right now. There's still plenty of time, though.
That's true, yeah.
All right, anybody I literally I don't like anybody in this game other than Brock Bowers to start.
You don't like Jalen Warren this week?
No.
Nope.
I think he does
Brock
better
Bowers.
than Najee.
He might. That might be the case, but I don't think any of them are going to be a viable fantasy option.
I don't like Jalen Warren in his first game back by any means. I don't care who he's playing against.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm with that. Any other takes? I think Pittsburgh wins this. I think the under hits.
Yep.
I'm with all that.
Next game, we got Lions Cowboys in Arlington, AT&T Stadium. The Dallas Jerry Joneses. Beggs, speak on your team, man. Detroit is going into AT&T Stadium as a 3.5-point favorite. Over under, I think it's the highest over under of the week, 52.5, which is just a weird thing when Dallas has such a stout defense that their over under is set so high. But that's neither here nor there. Speak on it, Beggs.
Well, I think you're going to play every fantasy player on both of these teams that you have. I mean, Rico Dowdle, you're playing. Jamison Williams, you're playing. Amon-Ra will tear us up because he plays out of the slot. You're playing Laporta, you're playing Ferguson, you're playing CD. I'm playing Jalen Tolbert personally.
That's really the only one to talk about, right? Obviously, like you're like you said, your Montgomerys, your Gibbses, you're firing up everyone. Jalen Tolbert's really the only guy that's on the fence in this entire game.
Yeah.
So, what's the status on Brandon Cooks? Does anyone know?
IR, man. He's on IR.
out.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, fire up your Jalen Tolbert, son. I love that. High over under. If the Cowboys fall behind, at all, really, and they have to throw, which they love to throw anyways. They don't run the ball at all this year. I feel like you can expect 8 to 10 targets for that man. I like him.
Yeah.
I think 52.5 is a crazy over under, but when you look at these offenses and the fact that on top of that, the fact that Eric Kendricks, Deron Bland, they're both out for the Cowboys. Who else is out for you all? You have another key defensive player out.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Is it DeMarcus Lawrence?
Micah was also. I'm not
Micah
sure.
Parsons is out this week. He's out this week. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, he's listed out this week. DeMarcus Lawrence. He's obviously on IR, so he'll be missing four good players. Your third cornerback is questionable.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're totally.
I think the Lions might put up 40 against them. Honestly.
Yeah, we're totally banged up. For what it's worth, the model as Gibbs is top 5 RB this week, and it has Tolbert as wide receiver 34, so a flex play.
Gibbs, totally believable, and it's not even Dallas hate. They're just so hurt.
Yeah, it has Tolbert next to Josh Downs and Christian Kirk, just for reference, which I think is fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, with AR, I have Josh Downs at about WR73. All right, we're going to the NFC South. We're going to discuss the Falcons-Panthers. It's in Charlotte. Atlanta going in as a 6-point favorite, over under at 46.5. Starting your Bijans, even though it's so disappointing. So disappointing at this time. He's getting you 10 points a week. It's frustrating, but you got to do it every week, right?
Easily. You can't ever sit that guy.
Are you still starting Darnell Mooney till you die?
100%, especially this week.
I like it. Beggs, weren't you a Ray McLeod guy?
I wasn't. I never have been. I never will be.
Okay. All right.
But I am a Darnell big guy. So's the model. Wide receiver 14 this week.
You know, Gones made me a Darnell Mooney truther.
Let's get it. Beggs, I was going to offer you a doink, but you have the model in front of you. I was going to say Darnell Mooney versus Jalen Tolbert. Doink me.
No.
Okay. Other side of the ball, Deontay Johnson's questionable, so I think best case scenario he's going to be, at a snap count. Are we firing off our legates this week?
Yes. Especially
so.
Deontay's out. Yes.
I think so.
Honestly,
I think this is a sit week for Chuba. Falcons run defense has been pretty good this year. For me, it's a sit week for Chuba. Unless you need him, obviously. If you need him, you need him. There's guys out on buys this week, but if you can get by with not playing him, that would be ideal, I think.
Too much volume going.
The Bucks literally rushed for 160 yards against the Falcons last week.
Can I get a David Montgomery versus Chuba Hubbard doink? Can I get a Najee Harris versus Chuba doink?
Not for me.
No, I'm trying to go for Beggs. Beggs is a Chuba guy around here. Checking the model real quick. And drum roll, please.
I'm not a Chuba guy. The math and the stats are Chuba guy. Is a Chuba guy. You're taking Najee, and I'm taking Chuba. You know what? Because I got to climb out of the hole I'm in. I'm only going to climb out if I win doink, so I'll take it.
There we go.
Wait, who do you have? Who'd you take?
Chuba. He took Najee.
Okay, I actually like you on that one.
Yeah. I don't know why Gone likes Najee so much.
I just dislike Chuba that much this week.
Najee had the best matchup he could have last week in the best of circumstances at home, backfield to himself, and did absolutely nothing with it.
It's because he's bad. What's Najee's second contract look like?
Ah, man, he's not in Pittsburgh.
No, he's definitely not in Pittsburgh.
He's
relegated to RB2 somewhere, right?
He's a backup to Saquon Philly or something.
I'm going to say, it depends on his landing spot.
He's not good. He's not efficient. He loves running up. Dude, watching Najee run is like watching you make a run in FIFA. You just love to run up the backs of defenders, and that's what he loves to do. He just loves to run in the back of his offensive line.
Except I score. There's that.
Not when you're running up somebody's back.
Hey, man, I score no matter what. I don't miss the open sitters.
You know what I'm excited about, boys? I'm excited that Drake London's season is here. He's a top 5 receiver. He is going to be this week for sure. He's a dude.
I'll take a doink that he's not a top 5 receiver this week.
This week? No. What about a wide receiver 1? I'll do that.
No.
Can I get odds on that doink?
You over doubled the pool on what you said, man. You said he's a top 5 receiver this week. I said no, he's not, and you said, whoa, top 12.
I'll do it if I get odds on the doink.
Yeah. It's bad business.
Bad business? What?
It's bad business for me to take a doink on him being top 5.
That's just what you said. That's all I'm saying.
I said I'll do it on a top 12, but you have to give me odds.
Okay, what kind of odds?
Give me 3-1.
We're not doing odds doinks. Get out of here, dude. We're not doing odds doinks.
Wayne, we're trying to move into the gambling scene around here, man. Let a gambler gamble.
We're not doing odds on doinks, dude.
That's not dude.
How are you doing?
Wayne hates deviating from the show plans.
We're not deviating from the show plans. It's just you're trying to get odds on doinks.
I would do a 1.5 to 1, just out of respect to the doink.
Well, Wayne already poo-pooed on it, man.
So dumb.
Just-
Yeah, I'm going to
just-
poo-poo all over him.
Just straight up take the doing. I take London as a wide receiver 1 this week.
Well, no, because I want Drake London to be good. I want Darnell Mooney to be good, but I don't want to have to root against them unless I'm getting like 3 doinks on it. I would just root for Bijan explosion, and they just don't have to throw the ball. Bijan has the greatest game of his life in the NFL for like $150 and 3 touchdowns, and everyone rejoices at what he's supposed to be. And that's just what it is. They don't have to throw.
I mean, the Bills have the worst run defense in football, but I think it's a little skewed because of the Derrick Henry week. Second worst is Carolina, and then there is a huge gap. So I think that's real. I think it is a Bijan week. I still think Drake London gets enough volume, and he's the clear alpha.
I thought it's going to be a Bijan week for several weeks now, and it's just never been a Bijan week. So, sure, all the data points to a Bijan week, but I'm just so hurt. It's like drafting Evan Ingram every year when he was with the Giants. Speaking of the Giants, let's go to the early mid-evening game. Bengals, Giants, MetLife Stadium. Cincinnati going in as a 3.5-point favorite, over-under at 46.5, which is, fun fact, my least favorite over-under. It just feels very sketchy one way or the other. What do y'all feel about this one? I mean, not that I can think of. I think Chase Brown is playing. I don't think there's any notable injuries.
Malik Neighbors. That's it.
I know Chase Brown's questionable, which again typically leans into the fact that he'll kind of be on a snap count, but he'll be available to play. So I don't think there's anything that we really need to cover as far as that goes. Devin Singletary's out. Malik Neighbors out. I don't know. Who are you firing up? So you're a Tyrone Tracy guy. Are you firing him up?
Absolutely.
Firing up Tyrone Tracy. You're obviously firing up Wan'Dale Robinson. I'd even consider firing up Darius Slayton this week. The Bengals offense is bad. They've given up 30-plus points.
Their offense has been giving up that?
Oh, is that what I said? My bad. Their defense.
Joe
Their
Burrow
defense,
out there playing the nickel, letting people get by.
All part of the same team. Yeah, their defense has given up, I think, at least 30 points in every game except for the season opener against the Patriots. They're just really bad. I like the options that you have from the Giants that you probably normally wouldn't play. So Darius Slayton is definitely a guy who I would feel okay starting in the flex this week with Malik Neighbors being out.
I'm out personally. I'm out on Darius Slayton, but I definitely think your logic is sound for it. It's just part of me is I've been burned by him so much that he's just kind of an ugly name for me. But I have no argument against him, so I'm with you. But I'm all in on Wan'Dale again this week. Tyrone Tracy, Goney's been trying to get you all to pick that man up for weeks now. You got to start him. I mean, they're gonna play him. He's gonna get his. Eric Gray is not gonna really bite into any volume. So if you listen to Goney 2 weeks ago, you got Tyrone Tracy for $1, and you got you a solid starter for last week and this week, and we'll see what happens the week after. Beggs, you got any input on this game?
I like Wan'Dale and Tracy. I think they're both auto starts. I'm with you all. I don't have anything extra to say really. I'm not playing Yoshi Voss.
That's what I was going to ask you.
No, absolutely not. The model doesn't even have him in the top 50.
How do you feel about Zach Moss this week? Chase Brown questionable on a snap count.
I think both of them are back end RB2s.
Okay.
So I think you play him. But
I think you could play him.
Yeah.
What's the model have T. Higgins at? Curiosity.
It's got T at number 10. It's got Chase at 4.
Dang. So it's got T. Higgins up there.
Yeah, loves T. Higgins this week. He's averaging 10 targets a game.
Sheesh. Okay. All right. Let's go to Monday Night Football. We have the Bills against the Jets. We're right back at MetLife Stadium. Bills are a 2.5-point favorite. Over under set at 40.5. I'm looking through the injuries now. James Cook questionable. Khalil Shakir questionable. I mean, outside of that, the Bills look pretty clean on the offensive side of the ball. Jets.
Is Shakir back?
He's questionable. On the Jets side, Tyler Conklin questionable. Michael Carter still out, obviously. No new news there, really. So fairly clean from the offensive side of the ball for this game. I was talking about this before the pod. I'm probably going to have to fire up Alan Lazard this week due to my Malik Neighbors pick not being out there, just absolutely teasing me by being amazing and then immediately getting hurt. So I'm starting Alan Lazard, but that being said, it's because I have to. Don't love the play. Where are you all at as far as who you're starting on the Jets? Are you firing up Braylon Allen yet in that flex spot?
I think this is the matchup too, personally. Begley says no, but I says yes this week. Bills defense against the run, not so good. He's been eating into Breece's carries over the last few weeks. He's been efficient. He's good, man. If you really need him in a pinch, obviously you don't ever want to start a guy of Breece Hall's caliber running mate, but he's cut into the snap share. It's not like it's week 1 and we're going into this and you're like, no brainer, don't start him. I think you can consider it. I really do.
He's not getting enough volume, man. He might be eating into Breece's work, but it's not a significant amount.
He got 10 carries. 10 carries good enough for you? No, not out of flex spot.
No, he's not involved in the passing game at all. So unless he gets 10 yards on each of those 10 carries, I'm not interested. For what it's worth, the model has an RB31, which before Rashad White got hurt, he's right behind Rashad White, just ahead of Alexander Madison.
Who's the starter?
Who's the starter? What do you mean?
I said who is a starter, basically. Right? Alexander Madison starting?
I'm not starting him.
No. For the Las Vegas Raiders, my guy.
Oh, yeah, sure. Do you take Austin Eckler or Braylon Allen in the flex this week? With the news that Brian Robinson's out.
I mean, give me Austin Eckler. Give me the guy who's going to start.
Okay. You take Justice Hill or Braylon Allen in the flex?
I like Justice Hill kind of this week, man. I'm kind of sitting shotgun with you on the Justice Hill train.
Yeah, there's Wayne. You go Tank Bigsby or Braylon Allen this week?
Tank Bigsby.
That's what I'm saying, boys. There's just better options.
Oh, I'll take Braylon Allen in a doink.
Yes.
Sorry, it's my son's birthday today, so they all decided to make a showing on the podcast. Jude, stand up, show him the shirt. Show him the shirt. Ava, get over here, show him the shirt. Let's go.
I love. Those are the ones that they almost
and his Sonic 3 toy. Mad Mob wish Jude a happy 5th birthday today. All right, get out of here.
Because he's a Judah man.
So, Goni, let's see. Goni, you offered me Tank Bigsby versus Braylon Allen. I get Tank?
Yep.
I'll take it. Give me Tank. Give me Tank coming off a big week. Obviously, circumstances are not the same as they were last week, but I think he's okay. I'm with you that the Bills have a mediocre run defense, but I don't know, man. The Jets are always behind. Their offense is just awful. They just fired their head coach. I don't know. Too many weird situations for me to really love anybody on that offense. I mean, obviously, you got to fire up Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, but outside of that, I'm not in love with anybody over there.
Yeah. For what it's worth, the model says Garrett Wilson's wide receiver 16. Buffalo clamps receivers pretty well. And is Aaron Rodgers is bad? Is that what it is? Or is it Nathaniel Hackett? Like, who can we really blame?
I'll tell you who you can't blame. Robert Saleh.
Yeah, weird. What a weird firing.
I don't know. it's got to be like a combination of things. I don't think you can pin the blame. I think everyone gets some kind of blame. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old, bro. Like, you hear the name Aaron Rodgers and you're thinking like, prime Rodgers putting up 4,040 basically on a yearly basis. Like, it was nothing. And like, he's just not that guy. And this is the Jets blueprint since 2000 basically.
It's just he's very mid. They picked up Aaron Rodgers, and I guess they thought they were getting Hall of Fame caliber Aaron Rodgers, but he's very, very mid. 61% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks, just over 200 yards a game, just super, super mid. And the Jets got a lot of issues outside of that. I mean, if it's true that Aaron Rodgers is calling some shots there, that's just a really weird situation there. Jets be Jetson right now for sure.
Just off the top of my head, though, just now that I mentioned that back to 2000, I'm going to quickly brainstorm. You guys throw in any guys that you might think of as well. The Jets stay going after guys that were once something and just don't have that same juice when they get there. And we're talking, and the only guy I can think of that came from another team that actually worked out pretty well, I believe it was Thomas Jones, the running back. I think he came from Chicago. He was pretty solid for them, but we're talking Brett Favre. Brett Favre was phenomenal, for his whole career. He got there. He's Santonio Holmes, Braylon Edwards, LaDainian Tomlinson. Just guys. This is just off the top of my head. Like
Le'Veon Bell.
Curtis Martin.
Le'Veon Bell? No, Curtis Martin was a dog there.
That's what I'm saying. I think Curtis Martin works against it. Keyshawn.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. You're right on that. I'll give you that part. But I'm saying more often than not, though, they'd gone and got guys in free agency, and it just hasn't panned out for them. And this is, I think, just another example.
They have trouble really finding that guy, that young guy, and developing him, because you look at who some young guys they've had in the past: Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez, most recently Zach Wilson, even had Sam Darnold for a little bit. They just miss on these young guys, and then when they do get them, they're not capable of developing them. Like, look at what Sam Darnold's doing in Minnesota right now, and you just had him a couple years ago, and then you go from Sam Darnold to Zach Wilson. I mean, just what they miss. I mean, they just miss. They've been missing, and I think that's kind of like in all of this. I'm saying all of this just to agree with you, is that I think they're so tired of missing that they try and just get a historically good person way past their prime. If the fact of the matter is, if you get somebody like that to come to New York, to come to be a Jet, then chances are they're past their prime and they don't really have a lot of standing offers anyways.
And I'm sure the hurt is over by now, but just looking back on it, you could really think they could have got Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson in that same draft. Baker went 2 spots before Sam Darnold, and then really you only miss if you take Josh Rosen over one of those 2 I just named. So you got 2 stud quarterbacks, and Baker's, I think he's good in my opinion. Serviceable at least, at the very least.
As a Buccaneers fan, we signed him to a 3-year contract, and I wasn't upset. Because you look at the pool of other quarterbacks, and I'm not looking at any free agents that were in our price range that I would want more than him. And I don't want to. There wasn't anybody in the draft that I really wanted to get. So for us to lock down Baker for 3 years at a decent price, I wasn't upset about it at all. I think it was a good move, especially if we draft somebody this year that can play behind Baker for a year or 2, or play behind him for 1 full year, and then we can slot that new guy in and have Baker kind of backing him up for a year, teaching him. I think that would be best case scenario for my team. But anyways, that is the last game. Now we're going to give you some. We're trying to shift into some more gambles. We gave you our Mad Fantasy Parlay last episode. Now we're going to throw our favorite prop bets of the week at you. Choose to parlay them. Choose to parlay 2 of them. Don't parlay any of them. Just solo bet them if you want. Beggs, give us your prop bet of the week.
Bijan, anytime touchdown score against the Panthers.
Fair enough.
Striking analysis.
Well, listen, I told you, I think Bijan's a top. I mean, I think he's a top 5 guy. Panthers have the worst run defense in the league outside of Buffalo. Goni said something earlier. I think he's true. I think Carolina or Atlanta can control the game on the ground. I don't think they really need to throw here. And Bijan's waiting to break out, man. I mean, the talent's there. He passes the eye test. At some point, he's going to break through, right? Your good talent always wins out. So this is the Bijan week. I say he puts. I'm going to say 20 fantasy points this week.
Man, that right there, Wayne, I'm going to throw you an alley-oop right now. I hope you don't let me down. That reminds me of just the Family Guy episode where, and now we go to Ollie with the weather.
It's going to rain.
Thank you, Ollie. Yeah, 100%. Striking analysis. I love it. I'm going to take David Montgomery, anytime touchdown this week. He's playing against Dallas. Poorest run defense. They're absolutely terrible, just like the Cowboys franchise. And David Montgomery's he's a dog. He gets to the goal line carries. He's always involved. And he's scored a rushing touchdown in all 4 games this year. So I like him in there for a 5th.
My prop bet of the week is Alvin Kamara, anytime touchdown scorer. The Buccaneers rank pretty low in rushing touchdowns given up. They've given up a rushing touchdown every single game except for last week. And that's because Kirk Cousins threw for 1 billion yards, so what's the point in rushing it? Spencer Rattler under center. I think Alvin Kamara is going to be a nice safety valve for him. I don't think they're really going to let Rattler air it out, so I think Kamara is going to get a lot of work through the air and on the ground. He's going to find pay dirt one way or another. Historically, Alvin Kamara absolutely dominates us. As a Buccaneers fan for a long time, I dreaded seeing Alvin Kamara and didn't really care about seeing Christian McCaffrey. It's just kind of how it was with us. We didn't really have an issue stopping CMC, but Kamara just historically just dominates us. And I think it's easy money. He finds pay dirt this week, honestly. Anything else to add for this week, boys? Anything you're looking for? Anything you love?
Yeah,
Last chance takes? Anything?
I'll tell you what I love. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Bucks against the spread. It's the lockiest lock of the week. Playing against Spencer Rattler, but more importantly, playing for the hurricane victims. These things just seem to work out in sports. Give me Tampa. They're going to be in every parlay I've got.
Okay. Gone? Anything?
No, that's good enough for me right there.
All right. Mad Mob, we'll see you bright and early Tuesday morning for those week 7 waiver wire pickups. I'll catch y'all later.